What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again on Friday. Got an 8-game slate here tonight, and I got it broken down for you with 6 of my favorite plays on the slate yet again. My money 6. So before we get going, if you could drop a like in the video and show some love, that'd be greatly appreciated. Let's try to go for over 150 likes on this one. Let's shake it up a little bit. Let's see what we can do, Money Mob. So I really appreciate that. If you happen to be new here to the channel or aren't subscribed, definitely subscribe so you don't miss out on any of these videos. Some good research that I put into these plays that kind of lead you guys into certain directions. I mean, you don't have to agree with me, just some guys to put in your brain to think about while you're making lineups. So last night, it was a pretty solid night. Kyrie Irving really did his thing. He got a triple-double. We got a little bit screwed by the Raptors for whatever reason, not playing Marc Gasol and Jeremy Lin in the fourth quarter, even though they were only up by around like 8 to 10 points for the majority of the fourth. I mean, it's not like they were blowing out the Lakers, so that really sucked. They promised Gasol to get a ton of minutes, and he didn't get as many minutes as I was hoping for. And also, Jeremy Lin only got 21 minutes as a starting point guard. Or was due to Norman Powell kind of stepping up, but still I expected Lin to play more minutes without Lowry. But Kyrie, Sabonis was solid. Vucevic is really going off, but the Cavs could not keep up in that game. They couldn't score at all, which really sucked. Vucevic could have had a humongous game. That game stayed close. So all in all, pretty solid night. Hopefully we can have everyone going off with these plays here tonight. But let's get into the first guy up. I'm going to go with Joel Embiid, back and ready to go in a perfect matchup against the Kings here tonight. He seems like he's good to go. We got 34 minutes against the Cavs. Last game, a 17 and 19. This is going to be another good matchup for him going against Sacramento, a team that he put up 62 DraftKings points against, a 29 and 17. They're coming off a back-to-back, so their center and kind of down low defense could be a little bit tired. Embiid could go to the post against them and have a humongous game. I mean, he's priced down a little bit too at 9,900. This is the guy that typically can get you over 50 DraftKings points, and he's already got the value sprinkled in a little bit with this price being down. He's typically around mid 10,000. I think it's because he is coming off the injury. Maybe they're a little bit concerned. Well, DraftKings is. But I'm not very concerned. A great matchup here. The 76ers are implied more points than typically score. And Embiid, I think he has the best matchup on the court. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my first guy. Then I'm going to go with Kemba Walker. I went with him the last 2 times he's played Washington. But last time out, really struggled, but I think he's due for a bounce-back game here. He shot 6 for 19, so the volume was there. I mean, he still had a solid amount of assists with 6. I just couldn't really hit a shot. I mean, that sometimes can happen with Kemba Walker, but he's coming off a game where he caught fire, 14 for 20, 6 for 6 from 3. I played 40 minutes, and they're really chasing that last playoff seed in the East. I mean, I think Kemba Walker could honestly get close to 40 minutes again here in this game. I'm expecting it to stay close. I think this game will be one of the higher scoring games of the night. Both these teams don't play great defense, and Kemba Walker, he still has the ability to score in this matchup. I mean, he dropped over 40 points from the field the first time he played this Washington team, and he's kind of struggled the last 2 against them. So maybe he's a little bit motivated in that sense. They kind of step up against this team. I mean, it's a great matchup for him still. I mean, Washington plays at a good pace. Their defense against point guards is not great. And also with Cody Zeller out and Hernan Gomez starting, I think that means that Kemba Walker could even see like a few more shots and also some more possible assists, because Hernan Gomez, he's like a kind of guy that when he passes the ball, he's just going to go right up with it. I mean, he doesn't really have much of an offensive game besides just being around the rim, quick layups and putbacks and stuff like that. So 8,200 here, though. Really good value for a guy that has 60-plus upside if he can catch fire. And this is a big game between them and Washington, high-scoring affair. I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my second guy. And for my third guy, I'm going to go with Lou Williams. He's been really streaky throughout the whole entire year, off and on, but it seems like he's trending upwards recently. If you look at 2 of his last 3 games, these aren't easy matchups either. I mean, OKC and Boston have been 2 of the better defensive teams, especially against kind of shooters this whole entire year, but he dropped 65 and 46 DraftKings points in both of those games. So really impressive stuff. He's been playing a few extra minutes in the games that have stayed close, 30, 34. against the Celtics. So they did kind of blow them out, and they lost pretty heavily to the Trailblazers. So it didn't get close enough to his minutes upside, but I think in this game it could honestly stay close. We got Gallinari, who's questionable for this game. He's a little bit banged up. I think he has like an ankle injury now, and also he had some question marks with his back that's been really flaring up throughout the year. So this could be a spot where they rest him against the Bulls. I mean, the Bulls aren't a crazy good opponent by any means, but I think they've been playing pretty well recently, especially with their full lineup. Zach LaVine was out for a little bit. So they kind of struggled a little bit without him. But they got some solid pieces. I mean, we know that LaVine can score. Chris Dunn can be a solid player. Lauri Markkanen can be solid. Otto Porter has shown some good stuff. So they have the pieces to keep up with the Clippers in this game, especially if Gallinari is out. And with the offensive kind of scoring possibly really out of the way, or just like not the present on the team if Gallinari is still less than 100% or doesn't play, then Lou Williams is really going to have to step it up. I mean, this is a great matchup for him too. The Bulls really struggle against point guards and shooting guards, and Lou Williams, he dropped a triple-double earlier this year against his team in just 32 minutes. I mean, he was super efficient with 66 DraftKings points. So he showed off his ability there, and like I said, this game, I'm hoping it stays close. It does kind of point to me to staying fairly close for Lou Williams. Plays the majority of his minutes that he typically does, and has that huge upside at 7,100. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there. Obviously, he has the downside if that game does turn into a blowout. So I'm kind of hoping Gallinari doesn't play in that game, so Lou Williams just goes absolutely off. But for my fourth guy, Bobby Portis here at 6,100. Another guy that's very up and down. But his upside is very good. He showed that 3 out of the last 4 games with 42, 41, and 41 DraftKings points against the same team in just 25 minutes. The guy put up a 23 and 9 and also 3 assists. And he did get in foul trouble in that game, so kind of limited his minutes a few. But we saw his minute upside against Sacramento and Minnesota with 31 and 33 minutes. So if he stays out of foul trouble here and plays well against a really struggling defensive Hernan Gomez this year, then Bobby Portis can really go to work against him, I think. And at 6,100, really good value if he can get those points. And he gets those rebounds pretty nicely at the center position for Washington. And with this game being fairly fast-paced and just a kind of a really good offensive game, Bobby Portis could definitely get a double-double again in this matchup and go to work in Hernan Gomez and be that kind of second piece, hopefully scoring this game behind Bradley Beal. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my fourth guy. Then I'm going to go with Emmanuel Mudiay here at 4,200. The news is broke that Dennis Smith Jr. is out of this game, so I'm going to assume that Emmanuel Mudiay steps into the starting lineup, and he showed off some good upside throughout the whole entire year and some good fantasy production when he was in the starting lineup. And without Dennis Smith Jr., doesn't really have to worry about anyone coming into the starting lineup, I would say, like kind of coming off the bench and stealing minutes from him, unless his game is a complete blowout, which is a possibility. But I think Mudiay could even stay still around 30 minutes, even if the game is a blowout. If he's playing pretty well, the Knicks kind of just play him in any kind of circumstances, it seems like. Like in this game, you got 32 minutes, and that was off the bench. So, I mean, he can still play good minutes, even if the game is kind of out of hand. And he played pretty well against the same Spurs team recently, 19 minutes, and he got 20 DraftKings points, scored 19 points. He's very efficient. And the Spurs, one of the best places to attack them is at the point guard spot. Their defense down low is pretty solid. So, Emmanuel Mudiay, think he can step up, carry the load. He is a guy that can fill it up as well with rebounds and assists, and he can score pretty well in this matchup, I think. So 4,200, really good value for a guy that really offensive-minded. I mean, he wants to go out there and score his points, fill it up, and be that kind of main cog in the offense. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my fifth guy. Then I'm going to go with Caldwell-Pope here. I mean, LeBron James, he is looking like he is out due to the back-to-back, and that frees up a good amount of minutes for guys at the small forward position. So we got Josh Hart possibly stepping in, but he's been dealing with a knee sprain or something like that. His knee is absolutely banged up. He just hasn't been 100% like the majority of the season, I guess. So Caldwell-Pope, I would imagine they would go easy on Josh Hart on a back-to-back. And that kind of, and also Lance Stevenson is out. So there's a big void there at the 3 position for the Lakers. So, I mean, I feel like Caldwell-Pope would make the most sense, kind of fill that void in this game and give him around 25 minutes, maybe even 30, if Josh Hart really doesn't play that many minutes, or if he's absolutely just kind of ruled out in this game. So at 3,700, good value. He's played pretty well the last 2 games with 23 and 38 DraftKings points. Good shot totals in the last 2 with 22 minutes, 12 shots and 11 shots. That's good to see. And against Detroit, their 3-point defense isn't great against like shooting yards and wing type players. And yeah, I think you could do some solid stuff. They're going to need some offensive pieces in this game. And Caldwell-Pope kind of makes the most sense for me to step up with ailing Josh Hart, Lance Stevenson out, LeBron on the back-to-back not playing. So it really makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my final guy. So you got Kemba Walker, Lou Williams, Caldwell-Pope, Bobby Portis, Joel Embiid, and Emmanuel Mudiay. So I hope you guys enjoyed the plays. Slap a like if you did. Over 150 likes, like I said. That'd be amazing. Thank you. And then you can comment any questions you might have down below in the video. Subscribe to the channel to continue to get these videos. And also, I'll tweet out any updates on Twitter at MoneyWebby if anything changes or any other value opens up throughout the day. So good luck here tonight, though. Hope you guys win some money. We'll see you back here again next time.